Hey, my name is Colt, the student minister here.
And my name is Claudia. Welcome to Catalyst Church Online. Thank you so much for choosing to worship with us this weekend. If this is your first time joining us, we are so glad that you're here, and we would love to get to know you better. So please text first time to 910-939-8313 or go to catalystchurch.com/mynextstep, and we will follow up with you very soon.
Yes, and we're live every single Sunday morning at 8, 9:30, and 11 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and at catalystchurch.live. So go ahead, share this video, like it, tag your friends in a comment, send them one of them gifs, one of them GIFs, whatever you call them, maybe one of these emojis, and invite them to worship with you today because it is going to be awesome.
Yes, and we want to make sure that you and your families are staying as connected as possible. So please like, follow, subscribe, turn on all your notifications so that you know exactly what's going on and what's happening here at Catalyst.
Absolutely. All of our updates and info on serve opportunities, special events, and groups can be found on social media and on our website. One in particular that we kind of wanted to bring up right now was our growth track.
That is right. Growth track is kicking back off in August. Now is the time to sign up. Just go online for more information and to sign up as well.
Yes, and another thing that we want to make sure you know is that your giving helps Catalyst to continue to do what we do, to be the hands and feet of Jesus in our communities. To give, just simply text the amount you want to give to 84321 or go to catalystchurch.com/give.
Yes. Now, whether you're sitting on your couch and watching TV, you're on your boat, lying in bed and watching us on your phone, we love you. We are here for you. We're so glad that you're worshiping with us today.
justice called for all my debts. The friend of sinners came instead. And your ways are higher, your thoughts are wilder. Love came like madness, poured out in blood-washed romance. It makes no sense, but this is grace. And I know you're with me in this place. And here now, all I know is I know that you are here now. Still my heart, let your voice be all I hear now. Spirit, breathe, let the wind come, have your way. Because I know that you are here now. Heart and soul, God, I know that you are here now. I fix my eyes on the things that I can't see now. And all I see is the glory of your name. Because I know that you are here now. Heart and soul, God, I know that you are here now. I fix my eyes on the things that I can't see now. But all I see is the glory of your name. Because I know you're in this place. God, I know you're in this Cause I know that you are here now. Heart and soul, God, I know that you are here now. And fix my eyes on the things that I can't see now. And all I see is the glory of your name. Cause I know you're in this place.
What comes into our minds when we think about God is the most important thing about us. Those are the words of A.W. Tozer, and it's that one statement that has been kind of motivating our conversations throughout this series that we're calling Summer at Catalyst Church. It's great to have you this weekend. Thank you for joining us another week of Catalyst Church Online. I want you to think about that. How you view God determines how you live your life. How you view God determines how you respond to all that life brings to you. How you view God determines how you view your problems or your possibilities, your past, your present, or even what you believe about your future. It is the most important thing about you. The truth is, right now, more than ever, we need a fresh understanding and a reassurance of who our God is in these uncertain times. There's this amazing story in the Gospel of Mark, chapter 4 and verse 35. Here's the story. Jesus had just spent all day long teaching and ministering to the masses. And he and his disciples get into the boat, and they're going to go to the other side of the water. And Jesus goes down below deck, and he falls asleep. Verse 37 says it this way. It says, "But soon a fierce storm came up, and high waves were breaking into the boat, and it began to fill with water. Now, just imagine this with me. You're out of nowhere, a storm blows in, the rain starts to pour, the wind starts to churn up, and the water and the waves start to break over the bow of the boat. They're getting tossed around, and the disciples are in panic mode. And listen, it takes a lot to make professional fishermen nervous on the water. And so they run below deck to see what Jesus is doing. And guess what Jesus isn't doing? Jesus isn't bailing water. He isn't freaking out. He wasn't pacing back and forth, trying to figure out what to do. He wasn't worried. He was asleep. Verse 38 of chapter 4 says this, that Jesus was sleeping at the back of the boat with his head on a cushion. And the disciples woke him up shouting. Now, I want you to notice something here. They weren't just shouting, but they were questioning. And here's this question once again. They said, "Teacher, don't you care that we're going to drown?" When the situation got scary, they automatically started to question the one that was in the boat with them. When they saw the size of the storm, they quickly forgot who was in the boat with them. Maybe right now, you find yourself in a very similar season. You might not be shouting with your fist clenched to the heavens, but you're feeling it in your spirit, in your soul. And Jesus, don't you care about this storm that we are in? God, how are we supposed to work and provide for our family during this time of uncertainty? God, how are we supposed to work and do school this coming school season with it being so unique and different and challenging? How do we stay safe and healthy? How do we care for our friends or our family members or our neighbors or those in our community who've been affected by COVID? How do I care? God, how do I care for my elderly parents? God, how do we walk through this season when we feel like so many of our freedoms have been taken from us? And for those of you that are upcoming seniors in high school, many of you have spent your lives waiting for this next season of your life, the next football season, the next basketball, sports season, band, you name it. You spent countless hours training and studying and sacrificing so much, and now everything feels uncertain. The waves are crashing into your boat. It's filling up high, and you feel helpless at times to fix it. I love this about Jesus. Jesus didn't look at them and rebuke them. Verse 39, he said, when Jesus woke up, he rebuked the wind and said to the waves, "Silence, be still." And suddenly the wind stopped, and there was a great calm. And then he looked at them and he said, "Why are you afraid?" And they would have been like, "Jesus, we were awake and we were about to drown," right? And he looks at them and he says, "Do you still have no faith?" The disciples were absolutely terrified. This was their response. "Who is this man," they asked each other, "who even the wind and the waves obey him?" They're still learning about Jesus. They were still discovering who this was in the boat with them, who he is, his power, his authority. I love that statement. The response is like, who is this dude? Where even the wind and the waves obey. You know what? I think we're still learning, you and I, we're still learning so much about God and our faith in him. And our view of God shapes everything about us. I think one of the reasons why this season seems so difficult isn't like the obvious, everything that's kind of happening outside of us or the externals. It's the internal struggle that's the hardest for many. It's the fact that we're not in control. And for most of us, that is fear-inducing and anxiety-producing because we are self-reliant, and our self-reliance is being torn away from us, and we're being forced to rely and to wait and to trust and to be patient on God. Listen, we're self-reliant people. If we have a challenge, we overcome it. If we have an obstacle, we adapt and overcome. If we face a crisis, we work through it. Listen, Catalyst people, you live on the East Coast. Most of you, many of you, some of you have moved away, but those on the East Coast, you understand hurricane season, and you've been through those. But listen, this is a new kind of storm that we're in, and there's so much that's out of our control. And it's easy to feel powerless. And when you feel powerless, you feel anxious and oftentimes angry. And you discover we can't control the wind or the rain or the timelines. but we can control where we set our eyes. Psalm chapter 9 and verse 10 says this. It says, those who know your name will trust in you. Okay, those who know your name will trust in you. Listen, when you think about God's name, you might just think, well, God's name is God. Like God is God. But what's so cool is that when you look into the scriptures, God actually has a lot of names. The Hebrew name for God is Elohim. In the Old Testament, the Hebrew name for Elohim was Yahweh, but here was the challenge. The children of Israel believed God's name, Yahweh, was so holy that they couldn't say it, and so they would use other names to describe God. They would describe him as El Shaddai, God Almighty, Elohim, Creator, Adonai, Master or Lord, Jehovah Jireh, God my provider, or Jehovah Rapha, God my healer, or Jehovah Nisi, God my victory, or Jehovah Shalom, God my peace. And those are just the ones that I can pronounce. Listen, the name describes the relationship God has with his people. I guess I kind of go by several different names depending on the relationship that people have with me. And now my full name is Jason David Brinker, right? My mom would call me Jason David when I was in trouble. People in our church and in our community often call me Pastor Jason. My friends just call me Jason. My kids call me Dad. My wife calls me Big Daddy, all right? Now, that one's my favorite, all right? So listen, not everyone, here's the key, not everyone calls me the same thing because my name is connected to the type of relationship that we have. That's why there's so many different names for God. God's desire is for you to know him in relationship, to grow in your understanding of who he is. David said it again. He said, those who know your name trust in you. I love that. Those who really know you know that they can trust you because in relationship, they have discovered who you are, that you are God, El Shaddai, that you're the God who supplies our every need. And some of you today, you need to be reminded that he is El Shaddai, that he is the God who supplies your every need. You need to recognize that he is Jehovah Jireh, that he is the God who will provide for you. That you need to know again, fresh in this season, that he is Jehovah Rapha, the God who will heal, that he is the God who is our victory. You need to know that he is Jehovah Shalom. You need to know that he will give you peace. Right now, some of you, many of you, you're struggling because you feel alone and isolated and afraid. But listen, God is the God of Shalom, the God of peace. You're not going to find peace on Fox News. You're not going to find it on CNN, and you're not going to get it from the latest update from the CDC. You need to be reminded, and we need to be reminded of who our God is, that God is with us, that God is for us, and that in him we have peace. Jesus told his disciples in the New Testament that when you pray, say, Father, Abba. Like this is the kind of relationship that God wants you to have with him. And the more that you grow in your relationship with him, the more you will discover that he is Father. Proverbs 18:10 says, the name of the Lord is a strong tower, and the righteous run to it and are safe. Listen, the names of God come out of the needs of his people, and he helps us to know who he is as he meets our needs. I recently heard Stuart Hall, pastor and communicator, say that we have made an idol out of certainty. We've made an idol out of certainty. How many of you realize that we don't do well with uncertainty? We don't do well with the unknown. Just put your kids in the back seat and try to take a trip somewhere. What are you going to hear 1,000,000 times? Well, where are we going? Well, are we there yet? When are we going to get there? How much farther? How much time is left? And I got to admit, I've asked those same questions of God 1,000,000 times in this difficult season. God, are we there yet? God, how much longer? God, how much more? It's like God keeps on going, 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes. Listen, it makes you feel helpless when your hand isn't on the driver's wheel. In Exodus chapter 3, there was this leader by the name of Moses, and God came to Moses and said, I'm going to use you in one of the most uncertain times in the history of my children to set my children free from Egyptian slavery. They've been in slavery for over 400 years, and God tells Moses to go and to tell Pharaoh to let his children go free. Moses was filled with doubt and insecurity and fear, you name it. And notice God didn't come to him and just say, you know what, Moses, listen, I've looked at your resume. I believe that you can do this. I believe that you can make this happen. God didn't look at Moses and say, man, you got this. You're good enough and you're smart enough and the people, they're going to love you. God didn't come and give Moses a pep talk. No, Moses is like, God, listen, I can't do this. And God agrees. Moses is like, I don't have the strength, I don't have the leadership gifts, I don't even talk well, I stutter when I get nervous. And God looked at Moses and he gave him the answer when he gave him his name. God looked at Moses and said, this is all you need to know. Exodus 3, verse 14, God said, I am. I am. Listen, you might look at that and go, that's not even a name. Like that's really, really vague. You might read that and go, what does that even mean? But God wasn't being vague in that moment. He's saying, this is who I am. That I am the one true, living, everlasting God. That I'm the one with no beginning and no end. That I am everything that you need. I am the God who will provide, and I am the God who will heal, and I am the God who will redeem and restore, and I will set them free, and I will use you. I am the God who will never leave you or forsake you. I will strengthen you, and I am the God who will sustain you, and I will see you through it all. I am Yahweh, the God who is and was and forever will be. Listen, in that name, you discover everything that you need. You find the strength to stand. You find the power to endure. You find the promise of a hope and a future. God says, I am who I am. I am what you need. Do you know what you need today? Do you know what I need today? We need to be reminded of who our God is. We need a right view of God. We need a big view of God because we serve a big God. And we need to lean into that God. We need to take all of our uncertainties and all of the blank spaces and all of the fears and all of the frustrations, and we need to run to Him and trust Him and know that He has a hope and a future for us. The Word of God says, those who know your name trust in you. God bless. Thank you so much for joining us this week, Catalyst. We love you.
It's just a whisper. You breathe in me a new song. You take me back, and I'll remember the joy of my first love. And praise will be my song. I cannot contain this love, and praise will be my song. How can I contain it? I cannot contain this love. and praise will be my song. How can I contain it? I cannot contain this love, and praise will be my song. How can I contain it? I cannot contain this love. Oh, praise will be my song. How can I contain it? I cannot contain this love. And praise will be my song. How can I contain it? I cannot contain this love. So I'll shout out, I will sing of your love for me. As you reach out, I can feel you all around. And I'll shout out, I will sing of your love for me. As you reach out, I can feel you all around. So I'll shout out, I will sing of your love for me. As you reach out, I can feel you all around. So I'll shout